Less than a half hour of trading. Nasdaq's on pace for another record close as we gear up for tech earnings. My next guest is bullish on the sector. Joining me now is Rockefeller Global Family Office's Cheryl Young. Cheryl, it's good to have you. So we do start to get tech earnings. Google's next week. The stocks have run up into the reports. How do you like the setup?
Well, when you see the stocks have run up into the reports, Sarah, not all of them have. Most of the Mag 7 is actually still negative here to date. When you look at the broad sector, it's positive. Technology is up about 10%, but the participation is actually broadened this year, which is really exciting to see. The Mag 7 has lagged, and most of the returns from the Mag 7 year to date have come from one stock, which we all can know and love, NVIDIA, which is really about a third of the S&P's earnings year to date as well.
So you see some catch up from some of the other big tech players?
I hope so. I want to see the broadening. That's a healthy market. Sarah, if we look at the last couple of years, most of the gains in the S&P have come from technology, and especially from the Mag 7. If you look at year to date, the Mag 7 is accounting for roughly one-third of the performance of the S&P. If you look at 2024, it accounted for 53.5% of the returns of the S&P. And if you look at 2023, it was 60%. So we really want to see this broadening, not just in these big mega cap names, but in the rest of technology. And there's lots of opportunity in AI, in data centers, in cloud computing, in infrastructure. So I think there's a lot to be said about some tailwinds coming into the year.
How do you approach the scrutiny around spending? I mean, the market has so far rewarded, certainly for the chips, but even the hyperscalers, all of the billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that they're spending on AI deployment and infrastructure. How do you decide as an investor whether it's worth it?
Well, that's a very good question. You see some of these mega cap names who've really spent a lot. There was a recent acquisition of Scale AI. That was a very expensive acquisition for Meta, $14.3 billion they spent. And so we're seeing some companies spend a lot. We're seeing other companies really lag on spending. And there's been some pressure on a couple of the names on the mega caps where we really haven't seen a lot of acquisitions for years. Just to give you an example, not to talk about any specific stocks or to recommend any specific stocks, but Apple, for example, hasn't had a major acquisition since Beats, which was 11 years ago. So again, I think that you have to be careful when you say there's a lot of spending because it's a mixed bag.
Right. No, I kind of don't even count. I'm talking mostly about the hyperscalers. And that has been the story of the quarters when it comes to a Meta or an Alphabet or an Amazon or Microsoft. And they have done well lately, and they have been rewarded for the infrastructure they're building out. The question is what the returns look like on the other side.
Well, and that is the question yet to be seen. We have really not seen as much as we would like to see come out of the spend on AI. However, we know that there's about $1.8 trillion expected to be spent on AI over the next 5 years. And so again, there's a lot of spending going into this area. There's a lot of hype going to this area. You're seeing some of these mega cap names lay off some of their software engineers. And so you're starting to see some productivity gains. And I think that'll continue. Those productivity gains and increase in margins from, I hate to say it, but laying off employees because AI can improve the technology, hopefully will be, again, a tailwind for some of these technology companies.
And then when you say technology, I mean, is there earlier today we were talking to an analyst who was saying it's coming at the expense of the software, the SaaS companies, which were so popular for so long, but now it's all about AI. How do you distinguish between the winners and losers within tech space right now?
That is the challenge for all of us. I'm based in Silicon Valley, and so I talk to a lot of my clients who are really forefront in the development of AI, forefront in some of the companies that are looking at how to implement AI. So that is really an area that you have to be very, very discerning. I can't talk about individual names, Sarah, but I think really that is the question of the day, is who are going to be the winners and the losers. And remember, there are about 5,500 AI startups, so there's a lot out there that aren't even trading. And again, we've seen some pretty massive acquisitions recently. I think that'll continue. These companies are spending on talent. They want the talent, and we're really hoping to see that it pays off. But again, these big spin projects have to have years to play out. This is not something that's going to come over the next quarter. We're not going to see this on the next earnings call. It's going to take time to deploy and play out.